So, good morning, Mikael.
Good
Um,
morning, Peter.
I see you have a lovely Christmas tree behind you.
Yeah, I was impressed. It's got all kinds of goodies. Not so much candy left because I eaten it all, but
Uh, that's how it goes, isn't it?
someone's got to do it.
Christmas is over, somebody has to eat the sweets,
I
and
know.
I think it's great that you take that on. I myself have a beautiful Finnish carpet behind me. I'm in Finland, and Mikael is in Hungary. And we wanted to share a little bit, talk a little bit about the CheonBo events and other things going on in Sweden. And neither of us are actually at church. When you are watching this, dear Swedish community and elsewhere, we are not there. So we thought we would do this recording. This is maybe our Christmas gift to you, you could say. But also we wanted to share some reflections because a lot of things have happened in Sweden. It's a very exciting time. So, Mikael, we've had a few visits. Maybe you can share a little bit about our visits.
I love to. I think, I'm amazed how these last 2 months has been amazing for Sweden. We've been, yeah, a lot of blessings. First, the Hannas came for 4 days, and my feeling is that's kind of family federation. Even though it had somewhat UPF, but Family Federation, they were here for 4 days and we could really attend them and so much love from them. And then UPF, European President Jacques Marion, came twice in 1 week, altogether 5, 6 days.
Incredible.
Incredible blessing. We had some good meetings with our VIPs and yeah, and meetings with their members. So Jacques Marion for a week almost. And then 1 week of President Moon. 4 or 5 days with the team, and then President Moon stayed 3 more days. So blessing just pouring in.
It's
Wonderful.
a huge blessing.
Yeah.
I think when it happens so quickly, I think we take it for granted. And so it is nice to actually, because now all we can think about is a chumbo, right? That's all I think about. I'm like, the moment the silence, I go, Aboji! So
Yeah,
it's,
I've been practicing down here. I'm done with the grandkid Vinci,
yeah,
and we have practiced the Channel Gook duet. Channel Gook, you make it possible. So he likes that one very much, and also driving around and just shouting Aboji Omoni. He loves
wow,
it.
wow,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
comes very
Yeah,
natural.
it was interesting during the event, during the Trumbo event. Um, Moon Kangsanim, President Moon, he was sharing that actually during Chanyang, children like it. Children like, uh, you know, the Chombo province because during Chanyang, they love the beat, they love the music, they like people moving around. They kind of, people are dancing a little bit.
That's true.
And so he was saying that it's very natural for kids. And Seon, my nephew, came and he didn't want to leave, but they had to leave because they had other plans and schedules. But he stayed
Right.
for 5, 10 minutes, and afterwards he was saying, "Oh, I wanted to stay longer." Because I also explained to him what it does. He's like, "Oh, I want to
Interesting.
remove evil spirits, you know." But he was totally sold on the idea, and he
Yeah,
liked
yeah.
it, and so he was happy that the Koshu, my brother-in-law, he could come, his
Wow.
father, and to take him and show him. So it is
Yeah,
precious.
that's true. That the Norwegian family that was there with 3 kids, wonderful family,
Yeah,
beautiful. But when it was
amazing,
time for
amazing.
Chanya, the smallest kids pushed the chairs to the front and were ready. It was amazing. Interesting.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
love it.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I like what you said with the David Hanna Family Fetch and UPF, and then a little bit of Trumbull Providence, and I think that is also I feel like a healthy order of things, and so it transpired very naturally. I could, as I said, I couldn't even think about David Hanna and Jacques Marion's visit because I was so caught up by the Trumbull, and it wasn't what I would have expected, honestly. I just had a feeling that it was gonna be great because I know MP Moon personally, and I've met him also outside of Chongpyeong, and he's an incredible person. So if he comes here, let's make it a great event. But like the feeling, it was a like a restart or rejuvenation or empowerment of my spirituality. I didn't necessarily feel because some people sort of asked. Do you feel cleansed? Which is an appropriate question to ask. But I said, no, I
Yes.
mean, I feel more like my spiritual sense have been stronger, and I feel much more
Mhm.
positive. I feel much more willing to connect to God. And with that, I'm making daily more healthy decisions. I'm less on my phone. I am now. I mean, now I'm in Finland for the winter workshop, so it's very natural to be good and to do one's best. But I'm more in tune with myself, and that's more remarkable.
I feel the same. And with the Cheonbon or CheonBo event, I mean, it shouldn't be possible to find that perfect of a venue. I mean, that regard, yeah, President Moon is always nice to be
Yeah,
around, but there is some
yeah,
practical. Where are we going to have this kind of workshop where you
yeah,
don't scare the neighbors? So,
yes,
so, and this just appears built by heaven. It's
yes,
wonderful. I love
yeah.
it.
That's right.
And
Incredible.
when I was
Yeah.
sitting there,
So,
we've been during
mhm.
the this whole 2024, it was I think the first week in 2024, President Balcom said, you should do one hour Chongqing one pray vigil yourself. So we did that, and then we kept going, and we actually did every week for the whole year, except for that week we went to Munich. So I really want to acknowledge the people that made it possible. The Malmö crowd always joining when they didn't work, Nina and Britta and James. And Vivica and freelance joined, and of course in Stockholm, Liliana, Karin. Uh, yeah, well, I mean, but more than anyone else, it's Anne Marie. Or doesn't matter if it's pouring down rain, coming there 20 minutes before, fixing fika, and the tech crew, Felix and Nina. I think they missed twice. They were in England, but anyhow, then they were backup tech.
honestly, I want to take a look. Can we just applaud? Also, Mikael and everyone else, but Felix, Nina, Mikael, Anne-Marie, everyone else, please give a round of applause for everyone
And I'm
to
sure
lay
I
the
missed,
foundation for the CheonBo event to be as successful as it was. Truly
feel like
incredible.
I'm forgetting someone, but you know who you are. You're just helping. And
Yeah.
actually a few times, yeah, Finland, Bengt, Bengt och Marit. And also sometimes San Francisco was there and Kansas
Wow.
City, worldwide,
Wow. Wow.
worldwide.
Worldwide. We are everywhere.
Yeah,
We bring CheonBo to you. It's like a promotion.
you can feel, yeah. So for me, it was a moving when I was sitting there doing the clapping session and in this perfect environment, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
we came here, through the year. It was
Yeah.
wonderful, really wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah. It
And
was. Mhm.
I hear now that President Moon thinks we should do it one night vigil. Is that true?
Yeah, that's right. So before he left, we were at the airport, and my brother drove me and Impymun, President Moon, to the airport, and then we were there. We were checking in his luggage, and he was saying, was asking about specific members, what their situation, and you should pray for them. If you pray, their lives will improve. And then he said you should do once a week, uh, vigil at the church, at the Cheonbon one. So um, I said, that sounds like a good idea without saying yes, because I do understand I mean, not even having been attending, I'm maybe the least regular attendee. Maybe I've
Oh, but
attended
you blessed us a few times.
6 times, but it is quite a commitment. And so maybe that's a conversation we can have,
Mm,
with the ones who would like to potentially join such a thing,
mhm,
or how we could do that if we could join partly or however we want to join. But
mm.
it is interesting. I mean, when Impyumun calls or talks to you, I think I'm like, how dogs, their ears go whoop, and you really need to pay attention. And so actually he did call. I don't remember, it was August or September he called. He said, I want to do a CheonBo event in Sweden. And this is the only weekend this year. And so I said, how soon do you need an answer? He said, tomorrow. So I actually called. I called some of the members. I called who I could think of. I called Julins. I called, of course, Mikael. I called um, Passions, and I think a few others, Laura. And I asked them, if we have a CheonBo event this weekend, will you be there? Because it was right before Christmas, and everyone said yes. And so then I had no, because I didn't want to invite. In Pyo Moon's time is President Moon's time is precious. I don't want to invite him if we're not going to show up. So, but everybody wanted to join. And so that I think was a good foundation for us to then continue the planning. Then there was not so much planning until the week before. Both me and Mikael tried to reach out to the team with a little correspondence from the other side. I remember I tried to book a meeting to discuss the schedule. And so then instead of booking a meeting, Im Pyung called me and he said, I said, what is the schedule going to be? He said, ask Mikael. And I was like, I had just
Thank
spoken
you.
to Mikael. Mikael will give you the schedule. And I was like, yeah, it was like an Uno reverse card. He played Uno reverse, and that was it. Um, so
But they
remarkable.
were totally busy in Russia,
Yes,
back and forth. That's how it
absolutely,
goes, you know. And it's
absolutely. I I want to say that why I say this is I do appreciate all the members, your patience, and you had so many questions for me and the rest of the team, and many times we didn't have any answers,
right.
but somehow I feel like it turned out to be an amazing event. And I thought
Absolutely.
maybe we can talk a little bit about the event. So as Mika said, it was incredible that we found this place. Laura, because Laura found this place in the beginning of the event, of the planning. I thought
Sorry, I have to break in. I forgot Uppsala joining all the time. Walter, Laura, yeah, in more weekly. I knew it
mm,
was someone I forgot. Okay, sorry.
shout out to Uppsala.
Yes.
You know who you are.
By the way, I was impressed by your history lesson when we drove to the Swedenborg grave
Hmm.
and Dag Hammarskjöld. You
Yes.
gave a very nice history, Uppsala talk
Mm.
there. I
Oh,
learned
I'm glad you
quite a
glad
few
you
things.
liked it. Oh,
That's a
very
good
good,
touch.
very
That's
good.
a nice touch.
Could
Sorry,
do a could do a
carry on.
community thing. Yeah, so the event, I thought, we were gonna do this Chumbo event, and I thought, of course, I talked to the core team, but also I talked to, Mikael and Laura, who I think are the biggest Chumbo lovers we have in Sweden. So I called Laura, and she said I had this place, and we had almost just started looking, right? There was a few, Felix had a place because he had been looking for the workshop, the DP workshop we had this year. And so he had a place, and then Laura had this place, and then Lara was really like, this is an amazing place. You have to go, you have to see it. And then she took mom and went there, and they were like, both said they loved it. I said, well, okay, let's let's try it out. And then we contacted the owner, we asked questions, and it looked fantastic. And the only weekend they were available was the weekend that we wanted to go. Otherwise,
Hallelujah.
it's booked for like what was it, 4 months forward, 6 months forward. It was incredible. So that felt very spiritual and planned. And
Yes.
do you want to share a little bit about Sten, our Rosbo contact, the workshop site contact?
Yeah, first of all, beautiful name, Sten.
Yes,
Full disclosure, my second name is Sten Mikael. Though. It's a very beautiful
I knew
name.
there was something. I knew there
You
was
know,
something.
if you don't know, names day on the 14th of December, just for background, yes.
Hmm.
And we usually get cake and stuff. Yeah. But anyhow, no, but he's a very special guy. He was in India 35 years ago, and he got
Hmm.
inspired to build this spiritual center in Sweden somehow. And so he acquired this beautiful land and started to build himself. So he built everything himself. And he said he didn't know anything about carpentry and stuff, but Spirit World taught him. And we're like, Spirit World.
Hmm. Interesting.
I hope Spirit World is good at electricity, kind of. But yeah, it seems like,
Electricity and plumbing, right?
yeah. But it seems like they were doing good there. They have some good
Yeah.
plumbers in the Spirit World and so on. And yeah, he's just really inspired and he's so open. I mean, he gave us the key and come and you fantastic. You're cooking so much, right? You can go there. You did whenever it was ready, you came there.
That's right. He said you can come anytime during the week, and if you need to leave things, you need to cook something in advance. So that made this weekend so much more easier. His
But we
flexibility.
need to have more things there, don't you think?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
so.
We need to book in him ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's definitely this is heaven has inspired this place. I feel like in
Absolutely.
Uppsala, which is the spiritual center of Sweden.
Right. Just a context, Svenska kyrkan is where they operate their main base. Yeah, so he was quite remarkable, and even before we came, he kind of felt like are his favorite group. He was explaining because he really liked. I think, we were giving him honest feedback, and we were admiring the place very much. And so he
Mm.
said he's someone who meditates a lot, so he really liked how calm our group was. So he said, like, if you want to book this for these dates, you do it now, because in 1 week from now another group is going to book it. So book it before them if you can, because I'd rather have you. So that was like, oh, thank you for the heads up. Thank you for the heads up. So it yeah.
So yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
You know, I really want to thank you for kind of touched on it when you always take responsibility to say yes, even if we don't have a clear plan, you know. No is not in your plan when somebody asking, and I really appreciate that. Then
Mm.
I kan ta rygg på dig. So thank you very much.
I have to
Appreciate
say,
it.
I don't like saying no to President Moon,
No,
but
no, it's boring.
he asked one request which I couldn't say yes to. He said, because he does the vigil prayer in the afternoon every day, and then he does it again in the evening. But he does it live in the afternoon. And he said, on Christmas Eve, he said, can you drive me to Stockholm, to the Cheonbon, from 2 to 5? And I said, I'm so sorry, President Moon. This is the most important day for all
Yes.
Swedish people with their family. And I'm afraid if I go with you to Stockholm, my family will never forgive me. So I really, this day, I cannot thank you. And I hope you understand and can forgive this. And he said, yes, of course. So so he could understand
Here's Vinci.
everything.
So I was going to say something, I forgot. Yeah, but if he's so honest and so straight, right? So
Yeah,
he can take that kind of thing. So
yeah,
when I first picked him up on Thursday, we were short of time because we are going to make it to 2 o'clock and install the live thing in Sundbyberg. So I asked him,
yeah.
he said, okay. Is it okay that we have some quick hamburgers on the way there? And immediately said, can we eat something else? I just love it. It's just straight. So
Yes.
yeah. I love him, his straight style.
He has all the integrity in the world. And
Yeah, yeah,
it was so interesting because you all, the ones who joined the CheonBo event, you all got to see him live, one he during the event. But I got to see him before and after the event. And for me, those things are more important, right? Like, how does he act when nobody's watching?
right.
And I remember he was holy salting the one of the houses, and he was doing with such devotion and with all the integrity in the world. And that was in a sense reaffirming my faith a lot, right? But he believes 1,000%. He doesn't believe just like, oh, I, a little bit, but he does it 100%. He does it every day, all his every minute of the day, and that is so incredible to see. He was holy salting it, and with such care and love, knowing that we would have a CheonBo event there, right? Or when we moved the prayer hall, he said, please offer a very sincere prayer as national leader. When we move the Cheonbon, you need to offer a prayer. And in everything that he does, it was with so much integrity. And so people with integrity generally are very attractive people, and that's why people are attracted to him. People want to
Mm.
be around the Impi, and even if you don't agree with everything, you agree with everything with Impi, right? With President Moon, you cannot not admire his passion, and it was such a privilege to see that in firsthand, as I wanted to share that. And so he is like this with everything, even the small
Mm.
conversations. He's direct and he's funny, right? And I mean, I'll share another story. We were at the store. He wanted to buy Swedish candy for his daughter because now Swedish candy is a thing in Korea. It's a big TikTok trend. And so he was buying this candy
Mm.
and then he was going to pay. And because he had a Korean card, he had to show his signature and ID card, right? He had
Mhm.
to write the signature. And so he's trying to pay, and the person explains, I need your ID. And then he points at me. And I said, no, if your ID card. Like I'm his ID. And he said, oh, okay. So he takes it out and he gives it to him. And he says, I'm South Korean, right? And then he says he has this intense eye contact with the cashier. And then
Yeah.
he starts while looking intensely, he starts singing. He starts saying, you better watch out. You better not cry. And then he turns around and I'm laughing. I'm covering my face because that is just the most not Swedish thing I've seen in my life. And I have a German mother, so I see interesting things all the time. But that was, and the cashier was laughing.
Mhm.
And then the people in the row behind, they were laughing. And then he turns around, he says, Merry Christmas. And they say, Merry Christmas. He says, Happy New Year. And this is just, he has so much integrity, he's so sincere in everything he does. So people just can't help but love him. And then we would leave the store and I say, Moon Kang-sanin, President Moon, you are so funny. And he says, why? I said, you just sang to the cashier.
Yeah, yeah.
So absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. But he could help us create the spirit along with the location,
Mm.
having President Moon. The CheonBo team was also incredible. But also I want to give credit to everyone who came. Um, you know, having a schedule that was very flexible. It was always changing. It was moving. It was a live schedule. Levande schema, as Mikael
Yes.
so nicely put. Um, but everyone who came really tried their best, and that's why we created such a beautiful atmosphere. There were kids. They were playing around. They were screaming. They were loud, but nobody complained. Everyone
Mm.
just loved that.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And I felt many members, the week 1 week before we had something like 28 people were going to come. In the end, counting everyone, we were around 50 people that came,
Mm.
either just for visiting or also stayed over. And that comes with its difficulties and complications to arrange that 1 week before, but everyone had such an open mind. And I really want to acknowledge those. Some of you, were not so sure of coming until maybe even the day before. But I want to take a moment and acknowledge, you know, the fact of coming. I
Mm.
felt very much that there was something. I don't want to be all spiritual, but I felt there was a spiritual block for a lot of people. I really did feel that. But then somehow that last week, something happened, and
Adieu.
things started to break and release, and it, just me personally in my life, it was one of the most eventful weeks of my year.
Oh,
Um, like
love it.
I like just that within from Wednesday no, from Wednesday till Sunday, I received actually a promotion at work. I had received a CheonBo team, which and I we had the CheonBo event. I had to go to court to testify against the crazy guy throwing stones at my window. And it was the wildest few days that I could have thought of. And throughout all of this, I felt so much love from everyone who were there. And the ones who I spoke to who had doubts, they kind of all just melted away the moment everyone got there. And I felt like everybody who came, they were supposed to be there. And I think they felt that too. Everybody, there was no doubt. Once you were there, there was no doubt that I should not be here.
Right.
And that was incredibly beautiful. And I told President Moon that for next time, he will lay an even better foundation. and we will have even more people. This
This
is
is the
the
beginning.
goal.
Yeah.
And speaking of next time, do you want to share a little bit about how we managed to convince President Moon to come another time?
Well, it didn't take much of convincing. I mean, he wants to come back. This is the best location he ever had. You know, he wants to buy the place. So, nah, but then, and we signed the contract, right? You remember?
Yes,
So,
it was incredible. Can I share a little bit about that?
yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah.
So actually, President Moon was on stage, and I think it was Mikael says, "Oh, please come back," and then he says, "Yes, I will come back," and then Mikael, without even a second going by, he had a pen and paper ready. He went up to the stage and he said, "Please sign here that you will come back." And I think
He signed
amazing.
twice.
He signed it twice. That's incredible. So we're
We got to
definitely
frame it.
having. He's definitely coming back.
And we had the best MC at the event. You got such a förstärkning from Czech Republic now. It's
Yeah.
incredible. What a blessing,
Yeah,
Daniela.
she really was amazing. Also in preparations for the CheonBo, with Christmas, you have to wrap gifts, you have to buy gifts, you have to, do so many things. We were planning to come to this winter workshop now in Finland, and while I was doing all the planning, because we didn't have much time to plan, was the schedule and this and that and arrangements and talking to Sten, Rosberg Kushgård. She was basically doing everything else in my life making my life stay afloat. So
Keeping you sane.
yeah, so not just doing the workshop as an MC, but also behind the scene, she was making it possible for me to do all the
Yeah,
work that I was doing
beautiful.
in such a
Great
short
team.
notice.
So I want to share also about the Christmas Day. We did the whole vigil live to Korea, right?
Yes.
But then we've done 50 weeks in a row, and then President Lee acknowledged, just all of a sudden cuts the camera to Sweden. So all of it, the whole screen is Sweden. Of course, we get a little help of President Moon being here, but anyhow, it feels like yes. And then the next day, I'm a little bit, or maybe what was it in the morning? Thursday morning after morning vigil there.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie gave incredible message at the North region. Every Thursday, 7 o'clock, there's a prayer meeting. So Anne-Marie gave a great message. And then the Hannas just shared about Sweden, this, Sweden, that, and acknowledging that we got missionaries coming. And it's that Ingmarie has been to many prayer vigil. I mean, Shanshin once also. I didn't mention Ingmarie, sorry. And now she's working hard to getting these missionaries here, right? So maybe can you share a little bit about the missionary thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I because this year with the GPA and then UPA last year, it was quite taxing on the community. And especially on some members. And I want to give a shout out to Felix and Nina,
Yes.
who in my absence of the blessing in South Korea really stepped up and took a big responsibility in caring for them. And they needed a lot of care. They needed a lot of guidance, and that doesn't come free. And so their absolute support and attendance to the missionaries was
Yeah,
remarkable. And so I shout out
amazing.
to them. And so, however, something we did reflect on is that, out of the two missionary groups, the UPA seemed more prepared and more ready to be doing good work. So I I discussed it with the core team. I said, "Do we want missionaries?" I said, "Yes, if it's the UPA." I mean, we love GPA. We love the Americans that were here, and Colson on the others, right? Nikki and so forth. However, to receive 2 year, it would be missions for 2 years. It would be a whole different ball game, and we want them to become self-sustainable and create to take care of the guests that we now have, but also to bring in new guests. And I think we can support them, and they will support us in a much more healthy dynamic. So after having that conversation with the core team, I reached out to the UPA team, who now I'm quite a good relationship with them. From going to Korea and speaking to them about the missionaries, and I told them, and actually, we are not allowed to receive missionaries. because we are
Mhm.
not one of the strategic nations, and only the strategic nations can get the UPA missionaries. We were not. But I told them, I said, if you send them to Sweden, it will be successful. And I told them our
Gud.
background. I told them that we already have quite a few guests that have been coming regularly, but we really need, if you bring some, we can really bring fruition and a lot of support to the Providence in Sweden and Europe. And so they let me apply after application deadline without being a strategic nation. And now, before Christmas, after the CheonBo event, we received the answer. And I couldn't sit still. I was like, oh my God, we're actually getting the missionaries. And so this is incredible. Ingmar is working really hard on
Yes.
helping them with the visas. And so we want to get that solved as quickly as possible so that they can come here and we don't have to worry about things. And we, of course, with that's an amazing Christmas gift to our Swedish community and also the Nordic
Gud.
countries. I feel, I'm sure we will share our blessings with all of the Nordic countries as
Yeah.
we move forward. But it was, all this happened. So many things happened within such a short time of the CheonBo team coming here, and it was what an amazing blessing.
Anyhow, Scandinavia is one country.
I
Uh,
do.
we are one, can you imagine the football team we will have? Anyhow, so we're one, and thank you, Peter. I'm going into the lunch program here now, so I have to kind of runda av.
Yes, I think this is a good place to finish.
But
Thank you,
the Swedish
Mikael.
community, there's such a vibration now, so we will build
Yes,
China Book in our lifetime. We just keep going.
absolutely,
Boom, boom,
absolutely.
boom,
We
bam.
have a momentum, and it will be great. This is a great start for 2025.
Yeah.
And so, thank
Thank
you.
you for a great year, Peter. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
the
Mikael.
leadership.
Thank you, the community. Can we give a round of applause for everyone? And as you applaud, please look around. Thank everyone at home, whether you're in Finland, Denmark, Norway, if you're watching this in Sweden, the community, thank each other.
Chanel
It's
good,
only possible with you,
we
and you
make
guys
it
are amazing.
possible.
Really, this community is not a community without you. And so, thank you for everything.
Thank you. God jul, gott nytt år. God fortsättning säger man.
God fortsättning.
Yes. Hej då.
Hej då.